1990 USA 5-cent coin. Today, we're diving into a coin that might just be lurking in your pocket change right now, the humble 1990 USA 5-cent coin, or as most of us know it, the Jefferson Nickel. You might be thinking, a 1990 nickel? Isn't that just face value? And for most of them, you'd be right. But, as with many coins, there are always those elusive varieties and fascinating details that can turn a common coin into a collector's prize. So, stick around, because we're about to uncover what makes the 1990 nickel surprisingly interesting. First, let's get our bearings. The Jefferson Nickel series began way back in 1938, replacing the iconic Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the obverse features a profile of the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, and the reverse proudly displays his beloved Virginia home, Monticello. And now, for 1990, these nickels were produced at three different mints: Philadelphia, P Mint mark. A staggering 661,636,000 coins were minted. Denver, D Mint mark close behind, with 663,938,503 coins produced. San Francisco, S Mint mark. These were strictly for proof sets, with a much lower mintage of just over 3.2 million. The P and D mint marks are located on the obverse, just below the date, while the S mint mark for proof coins is also on the obverse, slightly to the right of the date. If your 1990 nickel doesn't have a visible mint mark, it's from the Philadelphia Mint. As you can see from those numbers, the P and D mints produced a lot of these coins. This means most 1990 nickels you find in circulation won't be worth much more than their face value. But don't despair. That's where the detective work begins. The holy grail for Jefferson nickel collectors, especially for modern issues like the 1990, is something called full steps. What does that mean? Well, if you look closely at Monticello on the reverse of the coin, you'll see a series of steps leading up to the building. For a coin to qualify as full steps, all 5 steps leading to Monticello's portico must be clearly visible and sharply defined. This means no interruptions, no weakness in striking, and no major abrasions or wear obscuring them. This is often a challenge due to the striking process and the hardness of the copper-nickel alloy. Because of how difficult it is to find a 1990 nickel with perfect full steps, especially from the P and D mints, these coins command a significant premium. A 1990P or 1990D Jefferson nickel with full steps, in high uncirculated grades like MS65 or higher, can be worth anywhere from $16 to well over $1,500, depending on the mint mark and specific grading. The 1990D full steps, in particular, tends to be scarcer in top grades and can fetch higher prices. When a professional grading service, like PCGS or NGC, designates a coin as full steps, often abbreviated as FS or 5FS, it significantly boosts its value. So, grab your magnifying glass and start examining those Monticello steps. Beyond full steps, collectors are always on the hunt for mint errors and varieties. While the 1990 nickel isn't famous for widespread, major errors like some other dates, there are still things to look out for. A doubled dies, DDO/DDR. A doubled die occurs when the coin die itself has a slight misalignment during the hubbing process, resulting in a doubled image on the struck coin. For the 1990 nickel, some minor doubling has been reported, particularly on the date, Liberty, or E pluribus unum. These can be subtle, so careful inspection with magnification is key. Some collectors have reported looking for doubling on the Trust in God We Trust on the obverse, repunched mint marks, RPMs. This happens when the mint mark is punched more than once into the die, resulting in a slightly misaligned or overlapping mint mark. While less common on modern coins due to improved minting techniques, they can still exist. Planchet errors. These include things like clipped planchets, a piece of the blank coin missing, lamination errors, peeling layers of metal, or even improper alloy mixtures. For example, some 1990D era nickels have been noted for manufacturing errors related to the copper-nickel composition. Off-center strikes. If the coin blank isn't perfectly centered when struck, you'll get an off-center coin, which can be quite collectible if the off-center strike is significant. While most of these errors on a 1990 nickel will be minor and might not add significant value unless they are truly dramatic or certified, finding any unique variation is always a thrill for a collector. Keep an eye out for anything that just doesn't look quite right. So, you think you found a promising 1990 nickel? How do you determine its value? This is where coin grading comes in. The value of any coin, especially modern ones, is highly dependent on its condition, or grade. Circulated grades. Most 1990 nickels you find in circulation will be in good, G, very good, VG, fine, F, or very fine, VF, condition. These are typically only worth face value, or maybe a few cents more if they're particularly nice. Uncirculated grades, mint state MS. These coins have never been in circulation and retain their original mint luster. Grades range from MS60 to MS70, with MS70 being a perfect coin. This is where the real value lies for a 1990 nickel, especially if it has full steps. Proof coins. The S-Mint Mark 1990 nickels are proof coins, struck specifically for collectors with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish. These are graded on a similar scale, PR60 to PR70, and typically come in original proof sets. A 1990s proof nickel in a high grade like PR69 or PR70 deep cameo can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars, especially if it exhibits strong deep cameo, DCAM, contrast. For reference, a circulated 1990p or 1990D nickel is generally worth just 5 cents. An uncirculated 1990p and MS65 might be around $5 to $10, but with full steps, it jumps significantly. An uncirculated 1990D and MS65 might be around $10 to $30, again, with full steps making a big difference. A 1990s proof in PR65 is typically a few dollars, but top-tier PR70 cams can fetch much more. These values are estimates and can fluctuate based on market demand, dealer, and grading service. For precise valuations, consulting a trusted coin dealer or professional grading service is always recommended. So, how do you get started collecting 1990 nickels, or any Jefferson nickels for that matter? Start with your change. The most accessible way to hunt for interesting 1990 nickels is simply by checking your everyday change. You might be surprised what you find. Coin roll hunting. If you're serious, try getting rolls of nickels from your bank. This gives you a higher volume to search through. Invest in magnification. A good jeweler's loupe, 10x magnification, or a USB microscope is essential for inspecting those fine details, especially the Monticello steps and potential errors. Reference materials. Grab a good coin guide or use online resources like PCGS, NGC, and reputable coin dealer websites to learn more about specific varieties and market values. Protect your finds. Once you find a nice coin, store it properly and acid-free holders or slabs to prevent damage. The 1990 Jefferson nickel, while seemingly common, offers an exciting opportunity for collectors. Whether you're chasing those elusive full steps, hunting for subtle errors, or simply appreciating the design and history, there's always something to discover. So, the next time you get a nickel in your change, take an extra second to look at that date. It just might be a 1990, and it just might be worth more than 5 cents. What's the oldest or most interesting nickel you've ever found? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your stories.